Hello everyone, I'm back with the new history chapter, that is the Vedic period. Subsequent to the decline of Harappan civilization, the Saptasindhu region, that land of seven rivers represented by the Indus and the principal tributaries in the northwestern part of India, witnessed the growth of a new culture called the Vedic culture. The term Vedic is derived from the Vedas, which were the creation of the Indo-Aryans who came to this region. In this video, we are going to learn about the sources of the Vedic period. Literary sources, which consist of Vedas and epics. Second, archaeological sources, that is iron and pottery. Now we'll move further and I'll give the introduction about the Vedic period. The period when Aryans first settled in India is known as the early Vedic period. That is from 1500 to 1000 BC. Between 1000 BC to 500 BC, when iron had come to be used, Aryans followed the course of the rivers and settled along the valley of the Yamuna and the Ganga. The iron tools helped them to clear the forest. They moved in the eastward and the southeastward directions. Aryans, so far tribal and nomadic to nature, gradually settled in the Gangetic Valley. This period is known as the later Vedic age, that is from 1000 BC to 500 BC. The culture of the period is referred to as the Vedic culture because it was based on the Vedic text. Now we will learn about the sources of that period, which is divided into two, that is literary sources, in which we are going to learn about the Vedas and epics. Another one is archaeological sources, which consist of iron and pottery work, etc. So first we will learn about the literary sources, in which we are going to learn about the Vedas and epics. But before moving further, we will learn about I'll discuss about the literary sources. The Vedic text may be divided into two broad chronological groups. The early Vedic text, which starts from the 1500 to 1000 BC, when most of the hymns of the Rig Veda were composed, and the later Vedic text, which is from the 1000 to 500 BC. To which belong to the remaining Vedas and their branches, that is Brahmanas, Aranyakas and the Upanishads, etc. The two periods corresponding to the phases of the Aryan expansion in India. The social, economical, political and religious aspects of life of the people came to be reflected in the Vedic literature. Thus Vedas became the storehouse of knowledge. The Vedic literature was written in Sanskrit. The term Veda has been derived from the Sanskrit word Ved, which means knowledge. Vedic literature is divided into two parts, namely Shruti and Smriti. It is believed that the Shruti was revealed to the sages by God, and they passed on that knowledge orally from generation to generation. On the other hand, Shruti literature was composed by the Rishis. The Vedic literature can be classified into the following categories: the four Vedas, that is the Rig, Sam, Yajur and Atharva Vedas and their Samhitas. Another one, the Brahmans attached to the each Samhita. The third one, the Aranyakas, and the fourth one is Upanishads. Now we will learn in detail about the Vedas. First we will learn about the Rig Veda. It is the oldest religious text in the world and is therefore known as the first testament of mankind. It is divided into 10 mandalas. It is said to have been composed during the early Vedic period. The hymns are dedicated by the sages to gods. They were passed on orally from teachers to their disciples. This Rig Veda's hymns are the authentic sources of knowledge of life of people of the time. Much of the Indian philosophy is based on the Rig Vedas. Second, we are going to learn about the Samveda. That is, the term Sama means the sweet song or the melody. In this Veda, some of the hymns are borrowed from the Rig Veda. These hymns were meant to be sung at the time of the sacrifice by the priest. Third, we are going to learn about the Yajurveda. It deals with the hymns recited during the performance of the yajnas. Their hymns in these Vedas throw light on the social and religious life of the Aryans. Fourth one we are going to learn, that is a Atharva Veda. The hymns contained in the Vedas deal with magic and charm. Most of the hymns are taken from the Rig Veda besides the powers of ghosts and spirits. The hymns deal with the gyans, that call knowledge, karma, that is action, and upasana, which is invocations. Some hymns also deal with medicines for the treatment of the various diseases. Furthermore, there are a number of Brahmins that are amongst the earliest work in Sanskrit prose and primarily in the nature of being explanations or the discussion on Vedic rituals and their mantras. Along with the Vedas and Brahmins, the later Vedic texts also includes the Upanishads that were probably composed towards the end of the later Vedic period, that is around the 6th century BCE. The Upanishads contain some of the earliest recorded discourses on philosophical issues. The another one is the Aranyakas. These are the known as forest books written for the guidance of hermits and students living in forests. It is the concluding part of the Brahmins. The Mahabharata and the Ramayana, the two great epics composed during the later Vedic period, throw a good deal of light on the social and political life of this period. The Mahabharata, as it survives today, is the single longest poem in the world. The Ramayana was originally composed in Sanskrit by Maharishi Valmiki. The story of Ramayana revolves around the Rama and abduction of his wife Sita by demon king Ravana. The battle between Rama and the Ravana, duty, devotion, and love shown by the brothers is told in detail. Rama was the eldest son of 4 sons of Dashratha, the ruler of the Ayodhya, who had 3 queens. Dashratha was having the 3rd queen, that is Kekai. She reminded him of the promise he had made earlier to grant her a wish. Kekai wanted her son Bharata to be a king and Rama to be sent into exile for 14 years. Rama, along with his wife Sita and brother Lakshmana, went to the forest. In disguise of sannyasi Ravana, the demon king abducted Sita and took her to Lanka. Rama took the help of Sugriva and Hanumana. They crossed the ocean and defeated Ravana. Rama then, along with the Sita and Lakshmana, proceeded home having completed the 14 years exile. He was crowned the king. Now I'll give the brief introduction about the Mahabharata. Believed to be the work of sage Vyasa, Mahabharata is written in Sanskrit language. Originally it was called Jaya, or the collection dealing with victory. Subsequently it came to be known as Bharata because it contained the stories of descendants of one of the earliest Vedic tribes called Bharata. The final compilation came to be known as Mahabharata. The Bhagavad Gita, which forms a part of the Mahabharata, is one of the most popular religious texts considered sacred by many people in India. The interest of self might conflict with duty, and whenever there is such a conflict, the Bhagavad Gita gives the answer. That is the secret of undying popularity of the religious text. It teaches that the soul is immortal. Next, we are going to learn about the another source of that period, that is archaeological sources. The available archaeological sources of the period include iron implements and tools and the remains of pottery. Iron artifacts and the pottery remains are the main archaeological source for the Vedic age. So first we will learn about the iron artifacts. The discovery of iron implements such as hammers, arrowheads, spearheads, saws, etc. belonging to the Vedic periods indicate that the people had started using iron during this period. Iron was also used to make different kinds of weapons. With the help of iron implements, later Vedic people were able to clear dense forest and bring more land under cultivation. Agriculture became an important occupation and people were able to grow various crops with the help of iron sickles, plough, and hoes. People started leading a more settled life and also adopted a new occupations such as carpentry, spinning, weaving, etc. Because of its durability, easy availability, iron was extensively used in making weapons of war like swords, armors, and shields, etc. Now we are going to learn about the another archaeological source, that is pottery. Remains of different kinds of pottery found at different sites throw light on the styles of the lives of the Vedic period. The graveware, which is called GW, at the painted graveware, that is PGW, pottery was very fine, smooth, colored, and made out of well worked high quality clay with paintings. Northern block polished ware, that is NBPW, was glossy and shiny. With the combined information gleaned from the Vedic text and PGW sites, we are able to form an idea of the kind of life the people led in the first half of the first millennium BCE in the western UP, that is Uttar Pradesh, and the adjoining areas of Punjab, Haryana, and Rajasthan.